Shine Global is a nonprofit film production company, and we're dedicated to ending the exploitation and abuse of children um, in an effort to create social change and affect political change as well. And in particular, what we try to do is to shine a light on little known circumstances that affect children's well being.
We have three criteria for making those films. One is to find an issue that we can shine a light on that nobody has really knows about. So with War Dance, we took people to northern Uganda, where there was a 25-year civil war that was affecting kids, and they were becoming child soldiers, and nobody knew about it, and it was like, what was that? And now we take people into the backyards of America, where 25% of the food you eat comes from these children, and we say this is happening in America in all 48 states where kids are migrating and their labor conditions are totally unjust and unfair.
Director Robin Romano came to us with this story that he wanted to do about American child migrant farm workers, and we were stunned. We had no idea that there was such an entity, and we said, yeah, of course we would want to do this.
The Harvest tells the story of the children who pick the food that Americans eat. And I find that many Americans find it difficult to believe that there are hundreds of thousands of children who are legally allowed to work in the United States picking our food, and that many of these children go home hungry at night. And these are American children.
I got involved because I was a child laborer. I worked from age 5 to 17 in 10 different states, 6 months out of the year, and I realized that people are not aware that this is legal and this goes on now. And I wanted to see an awareness in America, and what a better way than to show the American people with a documentary told by the families, by the children in their own words.
It feels engaging and emotional. It's not it's something you connect to personally, and we found the story of these three children that are really quite extraordinary. And then we put the hope into the horror. So at the end of this movie, you come out and feel, yes, this is a terrible tragedy. Yes, it's going on, but these kids have the hope that they can someday overcome this. And you see at the end of the movie former migrant workers who have become astronauts and doctors and professors, and we hope that inspires them to give them the hope over this horror.
Well, it was at least 3-year period traveled from California to Florida, from Texas to Michigan, covering our families and dealing with the challenges that they deal with every day. Chaotic weather, uncertainty that they will work and eat the next day, uncertainty that they will survive.
A lot of miles and a lot of hours and a lot of travel and a lot of care and concern. They're migrants, so they leave before their school ends. They travel thousands of miles as they follow the crops that they pick. They live in, indecent and run-down housing. They work long hours during the summers, chasing crop after crop after crop across state after state after state. And then when they're done with the season, they return late to school. And that creates great problems for these kids as they move forward in life.
This is a very important movie to be made because it highlights the plight of children in agriculture. And it is, I think, one of the dirty secrets of our American society. And many Americans have no idea that we have children working in the fields for long hours, minimum wages, in hazardous conditions.
Since the beginning of MALDEF's existence, we've been particularly interested in a number of issues, including the employment rights of Latinos. And certainly there are lots of Latino children today in 2011 who are being subjected to unfair conditions that would never be accepted in any other industry. And the plight of child farm workers is a matter of serious concern. In 21st century America, there's really no reason for us to subject any child in any industry to the kind of conditions, the kind of diversions from education, the kinds of disruptions that happen in the fields.
Anyone who would say that this is good work, that it is safe, I would challenge them to go do the work. I would challenge them to learn about agriculture, the pesticides, the living conditions. I honestly feel that anyone who would say that this is a good thing for a child does not know what these children go through, and I would ask them to see the harvest.
I think it does get the message out there that we still have these terrible conditions of children working in the fields, which of course in the 21st century it shouldn't happen, shouldn't exist. And the other thing is that we know that even where there are laws to protect children, like in the state of California, we do have a lack of enforcement. And we know that the Department of Labor, with Hilda Solis now as a new sheriff in town, is adding more enforcement people out there. We think that ultimately we're going to see, at least in the states where we do have a law, we'll see some enforcement. But we know that in the states, most of the states of the United States where you don't have a law, that the situation is very, very bad. And I think this film is excellent because it does bring it to the attention of the public. And of course, Lucille Roy Ball Allard's bill will actually, hopefully it will pass, and so that we can say, no, these kids don't need to be in the fields, they need to be in the schools, that's where they need to be.
And this movie is so valuable because it is going to inform the American public about what is really happening in our fields with these children. And as a result, that it's going to help to create support for the passage of the CARE Act, which simply protects children in agriculture under the same child labor laws as children in any other profession.
As a child, when I was working in the fields, I wondered if people knew, and I wondered if they did know, would they care that I, as a child, was allowed to do this without any protection that other children receive in other industries. And when I'm here today and I see the turnout and I see the questions and the shock, I know now that if people had known earlier, they would have cared and change would have happened sooner.
I've done a lot of advocacy for farm workers, and when Shine Global, which is a nonprofit organization that produced this film, came to me with this idea to do a documentary about the children that labor in the fields of agriculture in the United States, I was blown away about the statistics. I mean, there was just so much I didn't know.
And it makes sense. Agriculture is hidden. It's far away from the cities, and we perhaps don't want to know. Maybe we're uncomfortable thinking about the strawberry, the lettuce, the carrots, the cucumbers on our plates, and thinking that a child legally at 12, in some places younger, picked that food.
And I thought this would be a great way to humanize the issue and to use film and the medium of film as a political tool to get policy and legislation passed.
Here's our feeling about this. These are our children. This is our backyard, and this is wrong. America can do much, much better. And if a country like America doesn't stand behind and protect its children, who's going to?
Well, I hope that it evokes some sense of outrage and, more importantly, some sense among those who see it of wanting to change the policy, of wanting to see us adopt the same restrictions on child labor in the fields as we have for every other industry in America.
It's my hope that when people see this movie, they'll have a greater understanding of the problems and issues at hand with child labor in agriculture and migrant farm workers, and that they'll be moved to try and make a change, that they'll be moved to be compassionate and understand that these children need our help.
Down near the coast, like down near Wilmington or Raleigh, Chapel Hill, or Charlotte, or in the mountains? Charlotte, okay.
Stalking you, I saw you at the first
Good to see you. All right, I don't know if you, in terms of your speaking, you want to do that first, or you want to have some time to speak to everybody?
We will start the program. Yeah, we're going to start the program. Excuse me, guys. Rodney, can you help me clear a path here?
I have the coastal area down near the beaches. So we've had a lot of films done down here.
Okay. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Darwin.
Dolores. It's a treat to see you 2 days in a row. Robin. Yeah. Okay. Lucille. Congressman. Congressman.
feeling?
Do you know each other?
Okay.
Yes. Apparently we're at the same table last time. Oops, sorry.
Of course. What's here? This year.
Yeah. This moment.
Yes. This moment. David Damien. Yeah. Yeah. Who are you? Oh, nice to meet you.
Robin Romano. And actor, producer, and activist Ava Longoria, who I know, we can give her a big round of applause in a minute. I know why you're all here. Okay. Who, as the executive producer of The Harvest, is really shining a much today. I introduced the Children's Act for Responsible Employment, better known as the CARE Act. While retaining current exemptions for family farms and agricultural education programs, the CARE Act raises that is set for children in all other industries. And I know it's really hard to believe, because when you think about what the bill does, simply provide the same 2001. And for reasons that we don't have time right now to talk about, have not been able to pass it. And I'm convinced that now, with the support of people like Ava and Robin and others who are here today, who are helping to shine this bright light on the plight of these children, that we are going to be successful in passing the CARE Act. And the film you're about to see really does highlight how critical it is to pass the CARE Act, to provide children in agriculture with the fundamental protection, to introduce Ava Longoria, who, as I said, her celebrity and her advocacy are powerful tools in the fight against the exploitation of our youth in agriculture. It is an honor to have her here today, lending her passion and her support of this very, very critical issue. Ava?
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to Congresswoman Rory Ball Allard. Say that 10 times fast. And Congressman McIntyre, to be here. Thank you for your support today. I'm so excited you're here too, and everybody here, to screen this here at the Capitol in Washington. We couldn't have dreamed came aboard this film. And everybody keeps saying I'm the executive producer, but the true executive producers who came up with this idea are Susan McClary and Albie.
Well, I want to thank Congresswoman Roy Bell Allard for taking the lead on this important issue time after time. And there are a few other people I would like to thank right now. And I want to thank Susan McClory and Albie Hecht for selecting The Harvest as the next film that Shine Global would produce after they produced the award-winning and Academy Award-nominated War Dance. I want to thank Julia Perez. Julia Perez is in the audience, who is my associate director.
Same people?
Sorry, I was about to say. You want to get dinner steak?